The Pyromancer is a modded sorcerer subclass that is essentially what it says. It's all about fire. Maybe it's making fire shields, giving yourself extra fire damage, or whatnot. So let's go rip, we're going to level a level, comment you on all the items you could need. So of course, at level 1 we start with the Sorcerer. Now this will give you level 1 spell slots, Constitution and Charisma saving throw proficiencies. Bear in mind Charisma is your spellcasting modifier as a Sorcerer, as well as Dagger, Quarterstaff, Light Crossbow proficiencies. When it comes to cantrips, I am starting with Bursting Sinew, Ray of Frost, Dancing Lights, and Light. And then for main spells we're going to take Shield and we're going to take Mage Armor. And that brings us to the Pyromancer. Your blood seethes like combustive flames beneath your skin, bestowing upon you the ability to harness the unrivaled destructive power of fire to utterly destroy your enemies. So first things first, we get Searing Touch. When you cast Firebolt, one of our cantrips, you add your Charisma modifier to its damage. Instantly a nice little damage buff. You also gain Hot Streak, so you can cast spells with a Celtic Flair to them. The number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking with a spell is reduced by 1. When you score a crit with a spell, you may cast Firebolt as a bonus action. So now we have a higher crit chance, and if we do land a crit, we can use our bonus action to cast a spell as well. We also gain Firebolt and Burning Hands as spells here. For ability points, we're going to have 8 Strength, 14 Dexterity, 16 Constitution, 10 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, and 16 Charisma. And then for your proficiencies, take whatever fits your roleplay. At level 2, we unlock our sorcery points, and these sorcery points are what you can do to cast spells, whether it's higher or lower. So from here, we gain the ability to create sorcery points, and the ability to create spell slots, and then we get to pick up some extra benefits coming up. For a spell here, we're going to take Magic Missile. This is basically one of the best spells in the game, it never misses, and you can upcast it to shoot even more darts. And then we get our Meta Magic, and this is what we can spend our sorcery points on. So the first one we're going to take is Meta Magic Twinned Spell. This means we can cost 1 sorcery point per spell level to target an additional creature with a solo target spell. So for example, with our Firebolt, we can spend a sorcery point to target 2 people. And we'll take Distance Spell to add 50% distance to our range of spells. Sorcerer level 3 gives us another sorcery point. We also gain Scorching Ray as a spell we just innately know. And then from here we get to pick another spell, and for this one we will be taking Mirror Image to boost our AC as high as possible. We get to pick up one more Meta Magic, and for this one we're going to take Quicken Spell. This means we can use 3 sorcery points to cast a spell as a bonus action instead of a main action. Sorcerer level 4 brings our first feat. Now before that we get to pick one more cantrip, and for this I would take Shocking Grasp. For a spell here there are so many really good options, but I would take Thunder Wave. And then for the feat, we're going to take the ability improvement, and we're going to bump our Charisma up to 18. Sorcerer level 5 brings Fireball as a spell, which is instantly a huge power boost. But we do gain other 3rd level spells. Now at this point I would personally take Counterspell, amazing for inside of combat to really just control the battlefield. Sorcerer level 6 brings Blazing Barrier. So encase yourself in a fiery magical barrier, granting you temporary hit points equal to 5 plus your sorcerer level. While the barrier is active, and you are attacked by a creature within 3 meters, they'll take fire damage equal to half your sorcerer level. This is a bonus action to cast, and it's a really nice just like defensive boost. Now we gain one more spell here, and because we are reliant on our sort of fiery spells, we can take other spells to complement them. So the first one I'm going to take is Misty Step to help us get around the battlefield, take us out of danger, put us on high spots to rain down on enemies, those sort of things. Sorcerer level 7 brings 4th level spell slots and Wall of Fire as a spell we know. Now we gain another spell slot here and more spells to pick from, so for this one we're going to take Knock, so that we can open locks outside of combat. Sorcerer level 8 brings our second feat as well as more sorcery points. Now for this we get to pick one more spell, so we are going to take a Lightning Bolt, nice high damage dealer that isn't just fire. And then you probably guessed it, but for our feat, we're going to take the ability improvement and bump our Charisma up to 20. Sorcerer level 9 brings a Pyroblast. Conjure a compact meteor and send it hurling towards a creature within range, dealing 6 to 72 fire damage. Creatures near the target also suffer 3 to 36 fire damage. If you score a crit hit with a spell that deals fire damage, you can cast this as a bonus action to the end of your turn. So if you score a crit, you can cast this huge high level damage dealer as a bonus action. It's a crazy ability. We get to pick one more spell, and for this one I would come down to the bottom and I would take Hold Person, because this is an amazing way to nullify the battlefield. If you can hold enemies and then get your melee attackers to score melee hits on them, guaranteed crits while they're held. Sorcerer level 10 brings our 5th level spell slots. Now we get to pick one more cantrip at this point, and I personally like Minor Illusion. And then we get to pick one more spell, and for this one we're going to take Hold Monster, which is essentially Hold Person but on steroids. We get to pick one more meta magic, and for this one I love Careful Spell. If we're throwing things around like Fireball and whatnot, having Careful Spell is awesome. Sorcerer level 11 brings Ignite. You have learned how to make your magic burn with especially violent heat. When you deal fire damage to a creature, the creature gains a stack of Ignite, up to a maximum of 5 stacks. At the start of the creature's turn, it takes fire damage equal to your Charisma modifier, or twice that amount if it has 5 stacks of Ignite. On a successful Dex saving throw, the creature will lose a stack of Ignite. When you land a crit hit with a spell that does fire damage, 2 nearby hostile creatures gain a stack of Ignite. So essentially you can put this debuff on enemies that will cause 5 points of damage, as that is our Charisma modifier, every round until they get rid of their stacks with Dex saving throws. We also get Investiture of Flame. Drape yourself in flames, shedding bright light within 9 meters and granting you immunity to fire damage and resistance to cold damage. Any creature that moves within melee range of you for the first time on its turn, or ends its turn there, takes 1 to 10 fire damage. Additionally, you may create a line of fire that incinerates creatures in its wake. This is a concentration based spell, lasts until long rest, so bear that in mind. We get to pick another spell here, and for this one we will take Chain Lightning, as this is one of the best high level damage dealers in the game. And finally, Sorcerer level 12 brings our next feat, or our final feat I should say if you're playing to level 12, and we get to pick one more spell. Now for this one there's no real wrong answers here, you can kind of take whatever. I personally like Disintegrate, but you could take Haste if you want to, you could take Ice Storm if you don't mind mixing the fire with the ice, Cloud Kill, Cone of Cold, Great Invisibility, lots of awesome options. Now for a feat here, you again have 2 options. I recommend either taking Alert for the +5 bonus to initiative and Cannot Be Surprised, and this is what I will take. Or you can take Dual Wielder and you can wield 2 staffs. This will give you +1 bonus to your AC, and you can hold the Marker Share and the Staff of Spell Power, both of which have Arcane Battery. Okay, let's go over our equipment, and we start with the Hat of Fire Acuity. So whenever we deal fire damage, we gain Arcane Acuity for 2 turns. Arcane Acuity, effect density has a +1 bonus to its spell attack rolls and spell difficulty class for each remaining turn. Reduce the duration by 2 each time it takes damage. So this is really helpful for landing things like your whole person, your whole monster, that sort of stuff. We're going to take the Cindermoth Cloak, ties in with the theme of the build. A creature that damages the wearer within 2 meters receives burning. The Boots of Genial Striding, so unimpeded by difficult terrain. The Robe of the Weave, a +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. Whenever we succeed a saving throw, we'll regain 1 to 6 hit points and a +2 to our AC. We're going to take the Braces of Defense for a +2 bonus to armor class, as long as we're not wearing armor or holding a shield. The Ring of Protection for a +1 to our armor class and to saving throws. The Burnish Ring for use of Paralyzing Ray. The Spellcrux Amulet for spell slot restoration. And Marker Share. So as I said, Arcane Battery. You can basically get a free spell slot, and if you dual wield, take the Staff of Spell Power, you get 2 versions of it. We also gain Arcane Enchantment for a +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. Now, at this point, before we leave camp, or once you finish your long rest, first thing we're going to do is a Mage Armor. Now we currently have an AC of 17. If we do Mage Armor, we bump it to 20. It just makes us a bit more tanky. Okay, you can see we're in the combat, and we are kind of top of the turn order. Bear in mind, I did take the Alert feat. So with that being said, let's get this going, and the first thing we are going to do is we're going to use our bonus action for the Blazing Barrier. Now this lasts for 10 turns, and it will cause damage to enemies if they come near us. So let's make a gap here, and what we're going to do is we're going to use our sorcery points to do Careful Spell. By triggering this, we can then throw out a Fireball, and let's do a 5th level. And we'll throw it here, so you'll see our rogue is within this. If we throw it, you see they only took 4 damage. And we absolutely torch Sparks there. Okay, we're back to our turn, so let's throw out some damage, and we're going to do a Scorching Ray. We'll do this at 4th level, and you can see we can throw out 5 projectiles. So let's split our damage. We'll do 1, 2, we'll do 3. Can we see you? I can't tell. Not quite, that's a shame. We'll hit Skeeve here. And And there you go, and you see we've got those ignite stacks on the enemy. So 2 stacks there and 1 stack there. So Scorching Ray is an awesome way of building your ignite up. And of course, if we do when I can find it, Quicken Spell, if we wanted to, we could then throw out a Firebolt on Trunks Rogue the Barbarian, 24 solid damage and another stack of Ignite. You'll see the 5 damage there thanks to our Charisma modifier and those Ignite stacks. And 5 stacks there. Now we have our Vestiture of Flame that we can do as a long rest. So if we do this, that has used our 6th level spell slot, but now we know if we run in here, enemies will take damage for being near us at the end of their turn. Which means if we wanted to, as a bonus action, we could once again Quicken Spell and get a spell going, but we won't. And you'll see there we exploded, causing damage to the Barbarian. You'll see 5 more damage from the Barbarian thanks to our Ignite. And 5 more there. And this is really where the Pyromancer comes into their own, because once again we can upscale some spells if we want. So for example, we could do a 5th level Scorching Ray, and we can just target everyone in our sight. So we can do 2, we can do 2, and we can do 2. And you see we scored a big old crit, which means because of that, we get Firebolt as a bonus action for free we can throw down on run here. And we're constantly just spreading those Ignite stacks around. You'll see huge fire damage coming through, and big 10 damage thanks to taking double the amount of fire damage based on our Charisma modifier because they have the 5 stacks. And that is essentially it. You can just spam these attacks out. So this time we'll do a 3rd level Scorching Ray. We'll do them all on run here, try and take him out. And there you go, because we scored another crit, we can throw a Firebolt out, and the Barbarian, if we get to their turn, will explode like that. And that is it. Now we just have to end the fight, which means we can run in here, and we can blast good old Terse here with a huge damage dealer. Let's close the gap a little bit more, just like that, and we'll throw out 4 Scorching Rays. Try and land a crit maybe. There you go, you see we landed a big crit, which means once again, a free Firebolt, just like that. And you see the 5 damage there. And then at this point, it is pretty much just a case of ending the fight. And you know what we'll try and do? Because you know how this goes, we just hit them with a big old blast of fire. Let's just try and end the fight easy with a Thunder Wave. Just like that. So that is the Pyromancer for Baldur's Gate 3. It's a really simple but effective fire-based sorcerer that can cause huge damage on their turn, at the end of the turn, and the end of enemies' turns. So really hope you've enjoyed this build guide. If you have, please drop the episode a like, it helps me tremendously. If you're new and not subscribed, you'd like to, that'd also be amazing, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.